Hello everyone, CoinHound here. I am so excited today to be able to bring this video to you. I just found the topic fascinating as I was looking into it. A couple weeks ago I brought you the story of the new silver coin series, the Queen's Virtues, that is being issued as a joint collaboration between the East India Company and the island of St Helena. And today, in a follow-on episode, we'll be looking at this silver bar, the 2021 250-gram St. Helena silver bar that has been issued to commemorate the East India Company. So we'll be looking at the bar, we'll be looking at the story of the East India Company, and the connection of the East India Company to St. Helena. And I found it to be extremely interesting, so I hope you stick around for the whole ride. And before we get to that, just that standard reminder, if you're not a subscriber, I'm at the point now where I'm starting to make that run towards 1,000 subscribers. I can't even believe I'm able to say that. I think I'm at about 785 right now. Not on the verge of it, but I'm definitely a lot closer to that than to the beginning. So if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my content. You'll get that instant notification when it comes out. Thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you so much if you're a return visitor. If you're new, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you'll come back for more. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at it to start out here. So this is the bar here, and I am having a little bit of lighting issues today, so hopefully we can pull this off. As you can see here, it is a legal tender silver bar worth 10 pounds, dated 2021, St. Helena. You can see the British monarch, Queen Elizabeth there. 250 grams, fine silver, 3/9 fine. It's a really nice design, kind of a little bit of a frosted background, and then around the Queen's portrait there, you have a little bit of a mirror-like finish. So very nice. Above the portrait oval there, you have a crown. So very nice, clean design. But it's really the back side of this silver bar that has me so excited. All right, so up at the top, you have the East India Company, London. And then you have the little logo up there, the EIC. Very similar to the privy that was on the Queen's Virtue coin we looked at in the previous video. This is known as a merchant's mark, and we'll be talking about that more in a moment. The East India Company, London, and then you have the portrait of one of the ships, and I just love anything that is silver or gold and has a ship on it. And then you have kind of the rolling ocean there, the rolling waves. So when I initially saw this, I got these on the JM Bullion site. I don't know. It seems like I say this a lot, but it's tough being in this community because you see all the different products on YouTube or on the websites, and then over and over you just find yourself, I got to have this, I got to have that, and then you're trying to balance it with the budget and everything. But anyway, so this is actually a joint effort. This silver bar and that Queen's Virtue silver coin are a joint venture between the government of St. Helena and the East India Company in London. Maybe if I get this on its side, you can get a little bit of an idea of the appearance. So the upper part is really kind of a frosted finish. And then you have a little bit of a more mirror-like finish on the water, which is kind of neat because if you look at it here, I've got a little bit of light that I'm dealing with here, sunlight coming in the window. But you can see it almost looks the way the water would when the sun hits the water, and you see it highlighted on certain ripples in the water and everything. So that's really neat. So this is just a beautiful silver bar. I really love it. As you can see, it originally came in this plastic pouch, and I generally prefer to have my stuff in a capsule of some sort. So I did buy a capsule, but that was a bit of a challenge. A 250-gram bar is not really the norm. And for those of you doing the calculations in your head, it's a little bit more than 8 ounces, so it's basically about an 8-ounce bar. And so the capsule, the one that I got that I thought had the best chance of fitting, it's just not quite wide enough, as you can see there on the right. And from top to bottom vertically, it's a really snug fit. I kind of had to just push it in there a little bit, and I'm hoping I didn't damage or scratch the edges at all. So I really wish there was a bar that fit a little bit better, but this one will have to do the job. So let's just take a close-up look here at the ship. Let's see if I can get a little better look. Look at that. Look at the detail. You have the little rope ladders. Look at the logo on the sails. You have the East India Company logo. We'll be talking more about that in a few minutes. You have the detail on the ship itself. And then you have this really neat background design. I'm not sure what the intention of the background design is, but it makes me think of kind of all the different ropes that are going back and forth at various angles on the ship. So I don't know if that's what they were trying to represent or not. But there it is. And look at that, with the light shining there. Isn't that just like what it would look like if the sun was shining across the water itself? So spectacular. So pleased. All right. Now, I hope you all stick with me because I'm really excited to briefly tell you a little bit about the story of the East India Company and its connection to St. Helena. The East India Company has a really interesting story, and it did play a key role in world affairs during the 17th and 18th centuries. So I encourage you, please hang on for that story. I think you'll find it worth it. So let's take a brief look at the history of the East India Company. And it is quite a fascinating story. Now, first off, on the screen, you have the coat of arms of the East India Company. And the motto is at the bottom there in Latin. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it in Latin, but the translation is under the auspices of the King and the Senate of England. Now, the English East India Company, not to be confused with the Dutch East India Company, was a joint stock company that was created to pursue trade in the East Indies. Now, a joint stock company was basically an early version of a corporation today. Now, as I noted, they were targeting trade in the East Indies, which encompassed quite an area in Asia, basically from India all the way through Indonesia and the Philippines. And ultimately, they ended up focusing on India and China. The company was established by royal charter in 1600 by Elizabeth I. Wealthy individuals and aristocrats made up the investor pool, and the company was governed by a court of directors. The British government exercised only indirect control over the company. Now, in this next image, you can see the East India House. This building was the company headquarters on Leadenhall Street in London. And this is a later picture. This is from around 1817, so this is a couple hundred years after the company was first established. The East India Company grew steadily, and at its height of power, it had its own army. And it dominated India, not just economically, but politically, in essence, acting as India's government. Trade expanded beyond spices to cotton, tea, opium, silk, and porcelain. And you stackers out there might be excited to know that the medium of exchange for the East India Company in buying all these various goods was silver. They exchanged silver in return for the goods from the East. Now, briefly, I just want to talk about this little symbol or logo here. It's known as a merchant's mark, or in slang, a chop. And as it notes, soon after its creation, the company began to use a bale mark, an essential identifier for products as they arrived in busy ports or were sold on the trading floor. Initially a simple mark, this evolved by the 1700s into a heart-shaped figure surmounted by a figure of four and containing the initials of the company. The symbol became known as the chop, a word that derived from the Hindi word, perhaps chap, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, I apologize, which means stamp. The chop was not only a mark of ownership, showing the products were from the East India Company, it also became a symbol of the quality of those wares. So you can see the logo there on the right. It has a V-E-I-C. Now, at this time, U and V were used interchangeably. So if it was in the middle of a word, you would use U, and you would use V at the beginning. So this actually is abbreviation for United East India Company. Now, as a little bit of historical trivia that might interest you Americans out there, it was East India Company tea that was dumped into the Boston Harbor during the Boston Tea Party. And those crates of tea that were cracked open and dumped into the sea very well and likely had that merchant's mark on we were just looking at. In fact, at the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum, in their gift store, they actually sell a mug that has that merchant mark on there, and you can see that here. So I thought that was pretty cool when I came across it. I did have a chance to actually visit that museum a couple years ago, and it's relatively new, and it is quite a fabulous experience. It's got a really nice museum. They've got replicas of the ships and a very nice gift store. Now, in 1857, there's going to be a significant uprising in India against the East India Company. And the East India Company is going to, in turn, lose favor with the British government. The following year, in 1858, the government is going to essentially take control of the company, and the government is also going to assume governing authority in India. And then not all that long later, in 1873, the company is ultimately going to be disbanded. Now, the silver bar we looked at is issued by the island of St Helena, which is a possession of the United Kingdom. So what is the East India Company's connection to St Helena? Well, the East India Company ruled St Helena for about 180 years. So now let's talk about St Helena. What is the East India Company's connection to St Helena? Well, the company basically ruled the island nation for about 180 years. In 1657, Oliver Cromwell, who was ruling England after the overthrow and execution of King Charles I, issued a charter authorizing the company to govern St Helena. I should note as a little side note that after the death of Cromwell, the monarchy would be restored under Charles II. Now, on a website that has information about St. Helena, and I'll have a link to it in the description, there is a nice little summary of this connection, and I'm going to read it to you. It's a quote that reads, "The company's reign encompassed a further charter from Charles II in 1673, settlement and fortification of the island, destruction of the Great Wood, the first planting of St. Helena coffee, a recurrent battle with drunkenness in the garrison, and the guarding of Napoleon, the island's most famous exile, through the support from the crown. The company initially flew its own flag over St. Helena, but in 1687, it started flying the Union flag. In 1834, company rule of St. Helena came to an end, and governing authority transferred back to the British government." So that's kind of the historical story. Now, what about the East India Company today? I noted that the company was dissolved in 1873, yet here we have St. Helena working in collaboration with the East India Company to produce these bullion products, like this silver bar. So that is a pretty cool story as well. So this is the homepage of the modern-day East India Company. It's a company which views itself as a high-end luxury retailer, and you can see there up at the top the various products, basically selling a lot of the products that the original East India Company would have traded in and dealt in. So they deal with, they sell tea, they sell spices, they produce and sell silver and gold bullion, and I'm going to talk about that in a subsequent video. I don't want to make this one too long, but they have a lot of interesting and neat bullion products beyond those that they are working with St. Helena to produce. Books, they have a flagship store in London and the like. So kind of neat, but it is directly connected to the original East India Company as they relate in the history on the website. It notes in 2010, and this is kind of a cool story, on 15 August 2010, on Indian Independence Day, a Mumbai businessman, Sanjeev Mehta, relaunched the East India Company to the world with the opening of a flagship store in London's Mayfair. Mr. Mehta had acquired the intellectual property some years ago, including the right to use the company's coat of arms. In an interview for the Journal Caravan by a former schoolmate, Salil Tripathi, who together with the new owner had sat together as schoolboys learning about the East India Company, Tripathi describes how Mr. Mehta thought that his whole business life had led to this moment. He says, quote, Mehta got up excited to show me a box holding the company's original merchant's mark, known as the chop, which was dipped in ink and stamped on the goods of the East India Company from the 17th century. He cradled the box in his arms as if it were an infant. Imagine, he said, the East India Company. It is mine. So, the East India Company, which ruled over India for many, many, many decades, at times treating the people less than well, was now owned by an Indian businessman. So kind of a neat turn of fortune there. And having bought all the rights to the thing, it's basically, I guess, the same company. It's just went into a hiatus for a while, and now it's been brought back to life. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the silver bar. I hope you enjoyed the story of the East India Company. As I said, we'll have another video coming in the near future that's going to take a look at the bullion products of the East India Company. If you enjoyed the video, once again, please hit that like. Please hit the subscribe. If you really want to go that extra mile, I humbly ask you to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when my new content comes out and you won't miss a thing. All right, everybody, thank you very much. This is CoinHound here, signing off.